and I can also see, like, I kind of think, and I guess, do you believe in, like, evolution, or, like,
I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on that right now, because
how
there's
old, like, the world is and stuff like that, I guess. But
so I would assume that your fundamentalist charismatic upbringing would have said evolution is like demonic and evil and ridiculous.
yeah, a little bit. I was kind of, like, my dad does, like, kind of geology stuff, and I'm kind of into rocks and, like, science, and like once you get, like, carbon dating explained to you and you understand some physics and stuff, it's like if it's not, then it was completely designed by God to look exactly this way. You know what I mean? So, which just kind of seems like stupid to me.
Sure.
You know, it's like
that it was designed to
it's
look.
it's like the carbon dating does actually work, but, like, God designed it in the short term to make it look long term to us, or something. You know, like, you get into weird arguments like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, as far as I understand, the evidence for evolution has become a lot more backed up. There's a better word I could be using.
I mean, you look at DNA, it's like most of our DNA is shared with most stuff. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Like, and how so? What do you mean by
well,
that?
like in your DNA, like, there's only certain parts of your DNA being used to express you as a human, you know, and that's kind of, like, individual to you as a human. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think it's like something like 90-ish, somewhere in there, % of your DNA is just kind of old stuff from all of these crazy old organisms. So you just don't use any of it. Like, there's a lot of code in your DNA, and, like, we can match up DNA with, like, Neanderthals and stuff like that, and be like, okay, look, we've got this much overlap here. You know, you've heard people say it's like you've got, like, so much % in common with a banana.
Oh,
you know, like,
okay.
you've heard people say stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like the track record in DNA really points to their being old stuff. But I kind of sidetracked with that whole
you're
thing.
good.
Where were we going with that again?
I don't remember what the original point was, but
Yeah.
I was going to say that I know that, I mean, each human being has their own set of unique DNA, right? Like,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it's pulled from
They
other
do,
things.
yeah.
But yeah, like, and so I think that alone is a pretty strong pointing to something personal, something creating. Maybe I remember you were asking where I land on evolution, I think is where this kind of started.
Yeah, but I can't remember why I asked why you landed. I was going somewhere with that.
I don't know either. Shoot, I'm sorry. Maybe we can.
That's what happens when you get two squirrel braids.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Put an agnostic and a Christian thinker in the room together, and here we are. And you're not agnostic. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep calling you agnostic.
That's the closest word I've got. Yeah.
Let's come back to that just after I say I am cool with evolution. If people come out and say it's for fact, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think it takes away from the biblical narrative at all. I think you just make Genesis into poetry.
Remembered where I was going now.
'Kay.
Okay, so I can see as humanity evolved, right, that, like, I mentioned this earlier when we were at the coffee shop, of, like, your brain kind of needs an answer to questions, and it's also trying to simplify the world as much as it can.
Yeah.
And so, like, as you go back in time, probably it was just less and less intelligent as you go further and further back in, like, human, you know, like, evolution kind of thing. So it's like you have, like, lower and lower resolution truths about the world, you know? And so I can understand where, like, the idea of, like...
lower resolutions of the world?
Yeah.
Because...
so it's like you're less intelligent. It's like your framework for the world is more chunky.
As you move forward in life?
No, I like backwards, like in evolution.
Oh,
like way
okay.
back in time.
Okay.
If you go back to, like...
I was thinking, for whatever reason...
Maybe the first thing you'd call a human, he's probably going to be kind of stupid-ish compared to what you think.
Okay.
He's still working on the kind of same logic circuit as you, but he's not... He doesn't have as many variables. He doesn't have as much data or knowledge, you know?
Sure.
So, but, like... I can see how we really love to anthropomorphize things.
Yes.
You know? And so it's just like, okay, there's a bunch of unknown things happening. And so it kind of feels like you're in a story, you know? So it's like you kind of are like, something's doing this to me. Like, I can see how you would kind of like generate a god, like, way back in the day, you know? And then, like, how that would evolve and how you'd... Like, if you look at God, like the things that God did kind of thing,
Yeah.
like that we're just like, oh, that's God. You know, we've explained them away as time has kind of progressed. You know, we can still say like, oh, God is what made those things happen that way. You know, but it's like you don't really call like the table saw that made this God.
Sure.
You know, because you can completely explain it. But you know, like a Neanderthal might have seen a table saw and been like, this is God or something
Okay,
like that.
I get
You
what
know
you're
what
saying.
you get what I'm kind of saying there with that analogy. So I can kind of see like how God would be generated.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I thought you'd be, where you'd land.
Yeah, so I could kind of see how he would be generated as an idea, and there's definitely an undeniable void where he fits in all of existence.
Yep.
If
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say that void is meant to be filled by the
Yeah.
existence of true God.
Yeah.
Whereas you would say we filled that, right?
Yeah, we
From
filled
human,
it. Yeah, it's like
evolution
we need to fill it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like I'm completely chill with not knowing. You know what I mean? But like we just want to know. We want to fill that. I like to use the analogy of like it's the other half of the sine wave. You know, it's like if this is all of reality, like in like trigonometry or whatever, then it's like there has to be a whole other side of the sine wave, and we probably just have nothing to know about it. You know, like I kind of like. I think whatever that hole is, it's so infinite and so unknowable that like I find it arrogant to be like, actually I know that hole. Yeah, that's kind of it's like that's my hole.
We'll fix that in post.
You know.
Really? So okay.
See, I just think there are so many variables. It's like, okay, so the average human, right, I think can hold around like, if I remember this right, like 3 to like 5 variables maybe in their head. And we're talking like smart people, or 3 to like 5 variables, something like that.
What constitutes a variable?
Or like, so like say if you just have like some complex system that just has like, you change this and all these 3 things get affected.
Okay.
Right? In different ways, positive or negatively.
Okay.
Like up to like 5. Like smart people can like hold like up to like 5 variables in their head or something like that, and like kind of think through how they're all going to change and fluctuate, you know.
Sure.
That's like none.
Sure.
Like compared to how many there are in like just in my fingertip, you know what I mean? Like how many variables there are. So it's like I'm acknowledging the low resolution and ignorance of this like brain that I have.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much more to even just reality than we can see, touch, or smell. It's like we know that. It's like there's a bunch of stuff right here that we 100% know is right here that I can't physically feel, touch, smell, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Yeah.
But then like claiming that you know the big mystery, like that's the big hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like claiming that, oh, I know that. It's this God. So and then after you claim to know that, then it's like, okay, well now it's this religion too. It's like I know there's a God, right? So which I also don't even know how it gets entity. I just see an absence of knowledge kind of thing, and some like areas of life that feel like magical, you know, that I kind of have for that void. But I don't know how you get it to being an entity. And then I didn't know how once it was an entity, how would you choose which religion, you know, kind of thing.
So you are saying the absence of knowledge is what has brought you to this conclusion of, I don't know, I'm never going to know, right? That's what you're saying?
The absence of knowledge of
the
like,
other side is what you're saying. So like what I would call God.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
calling like this absence of...
It's like knowing how much horsepower this has and knowing how many variables there are. It's like, and knowing that personally, it's like, I've never like seen it. I've never touched it. I have some weird emotional experiences, you know, being like Christian stuff. I've definitely had like heart-touching experiences, but it's like I have no idea how those, besides someone telling me so, you know, I have no idea how like this transcendent experience algorithms out to oh, that's coming straight from this dude in the Bible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
like
I would
like for
say-
me having like a transcendent experience, say like okay, like I was like meditating like on the side of the hill as the sun rose up one day, and like I like felt like I was connected to everything. It's like, okay, so I had that experience, but I just had that experience, and there wasn't like someone who's like, I'm God and I'm
Right. It wasn't explicit, right? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
God, yeah, told you.
yeah, but like there's no entity, and there wasn't like I can't assign magical things to this other thing because there's no link in between them. You know what I mean? Besides people saying there's a link. Besides the culture around me
Yeah.
being like, oh, that was God that happened there. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, like for me being like scientifically minded, it's like you have zero link. Like there's no link between it. It's like this happened, and then you say it's this thing, and there's no like causal link between them. Besides you just
Okay.
saying it's there. You know?
Do you think there's no link because it can't be measured?
Well, it's like I just don't know how they're linked. You know, it's like
So, but don't you? Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to. And I don't even really want to do like the debate thing. I'm just trying to like see. I'm trying to poke and see, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
where like
yeah,
you.
yeah.
So, so to give you kind of my, and I want to get back to your story. So let's definitely get back to it.
Okay, yeah.
Let me say what I want to say. You can respond, and we can get back to your story. I would say, as a Christian, and some Christians might not articulate it this way, but as especially somebody who cares about apologetics, Christian apologetics, the how do I want to say this? What you're describing as we don't know what's on the other side. What did you say? That there was like half of the, what is it called?
the sine wave. The other
the
half
sine
of the
wave?
sine wave.
What is that?
Yeah.
Sine wave.
Sine wave, just like in trigonometry, yeah, like a wave.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
okay.
and you've got positive up here, negative down
Okay.
here, and it's
Okay.
like we've got this is all of existence.
Yep.
So it's like
yeah.
kind of saying there's a bunch of other somethings. you
Sure.
know, kind of thing.
So what I would
Like
say,
if there's something else kind of type of logic.
the pointing, yeah, okay, right. The things that we have in existence that we know are factually accurate, that seem to point to something that's unknown. That's where I wouldn't say the Christian God, but that's where I would say we've got some kind of intelligent entity on our hands. And then you've got, like what you were, I think, kind of saying where you kind of get overwhelmed, is you've got your options between your gods that you can choose. Or it could be something that we haven't discovered yet. Right?
Well, that's if I would choose that there is a God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to choose. But
Okay.
I'm still on the, like, I don't even know, like, I don't think there's a God.